In the last couple of videos I have had many comments asking me to keep the pay to win beans to a minimum, and I really did think about it. That was until I played Frostbite Caves, a world so notoriously hard that it would make 3-blower Fred himself run in fear. But first, why don't you subscribe so we can show EA just how many of us want Garden Warfare 3. Frostbite Caves starts in day 1, where I was warned by Twitch chat time and time again of the things that this world would do to me and my beans. But this day was easy, and so was day 2, 3, 4, and even day 5, and every single day up to day 10 I completed first try. Could it be true? Lies on the internet? I was jumping for joy. I couldn't believe it that I am such a skilled gamer that Frostbite Caves seemed to be no match for me. And then I hit day 11. Day 11 of Frostbite Caves is without a shadow of a doubt the hardest day I have encountered thus far. Day 11 stole my firstborn child and force-fed it beans. Day 11 was responsible for every single tragedy this world has to offer. Day 11 hit the second tower. The reason for this immense difficulty spike was the fact that so many zombies all funneled into the bottom lane due to these tiles that move the zombies' positioning, and it just led to my bean sprouts getting overwhelmed time and time again. This, along with the harsh blowing from the developers that I kept receiving, led me to spend an hour and 15 minutes on this day alone. In this time, I came up with a strategy that helped me beat this level, or at least I thought it would help me beat the level. What I needed to do was I needed to save my plant food for the right time and send in a giant goopy goober to destroy my foes in the bottom lane. But even then, when I timed it right, I discovered that even my vegan gargantua got overwhelmed and he had his ass eaten. The wiser thing to do would have been try and delay the zombies' approach in different lanes so they didn't all funnel in and overwhelm my beans at once. But even trying that, I just couldn't do it right. So I had to do something I'm not particularly proud of. I had to utilise the Zen garden and keep planting until I had a bean sprout. Then I subjected my Twitch chat to watching advertisements with me so I can get the gems to speed up the gardening process. Did I mention that this whole world was streamed over at twitch.tv/Whoie? Go check it out. We watch advertisements for fun. Once I zenned in the garden till my beans sprouted, I was ready to take on the day once again, and take it on I did. The way the Zen garden works is it gives your plant a buff for a single attempt of the next level you use them on. When a plant is buffed, they automatically have their plant food activated as soon as you plant them. And with this, I managed to beat the level, but I so very, very nearly lost. Honestly, if I lost with this buff, I think I just would have stopped trying altogether.
Bean beans and cheese.
Bean only! Get in! The next challenge came straight after with day 12, where I once again struggled with being blown on as much as I was. A strategy I picked up for dealing with this is by removing my beans just as they were getting frozen, and then replanting them. This reset gets rid of the whole frozen debuff and gives me some more time. With this in mind, I managed to beat day 12 on my second attempt. Day 13 was yet another challenging day, since we had to stop the zombies from trampling the flowers, which also means we can't use any lawnmowers at all. We almost managed to conquer this day first try, but then this giant Neanderthal came in, and my beans got a good old pounding, and all I can do was sit there and watch. Then I went back and kicked his ass by preparing my beans in the lane that he was coming in. Day 14 was also a pretty tough day, due to the sheer length of this day. My plants were pre-picked for me, so I couldn't even do it bean only. The only notable thing about this day really, other than its length, is the fact that my good old friend Poseidon came down from the heavens and saved my ass. Thank you, Poseidon, you are truly my hero. We then move on to day 15, which once again was a pretty hard level since it was a defend the endangered plant level. I put down all my bean sprouts in preparation, and it was a mighty defense. I very nearly lost, but in the end I managed to scrape through this day without issue. There was nothing else really that notable about it. Moving on, we go to day 16, where it was probably the hardest of any conveyor belt days I've faced so far. It was pretty tough, and I found myself getting overrun very quickly to the point where I lost this day quite a few times. However, it was still a conveyor belt level, so it wasn't too hard overall. The only reason I found it hard is because I'm a fucking dumbass. The next challenge really didn't come until day 20, where we had to endure another 3-wave day. This day fucked me harder than David Cameron with a pig. But after a few tries, the day was completed rather easily, and I was rewarded with a zombie holding my bone. Every day up to day 24 was pretty easy, but do you guys remember how last episode I called a certain being useless? If you ever feel useless, just remember that this cunt exists. Well, I finally found a use for him. In day 24 of Frostbite Caves, we have to produce 2,500 sun. But the level is very short, so I don't have that much time to do so. I was down to 1 ice head, and I was just thinking I was going to fail because I was nowhere near the 2,500 sun. But I did have enough sun to put down a spring bean and bounce this zombie back countless times. Enough times that I could barely, just barely, make the 2,500 sun quota. The spring bean is the best plant in this game, and I will hear no second opinion. From here, it was easy sailing up to day 27, where we had to protect some endangered plants once again. I set up my defences, but this was yet another gruelling day, with 4 waves to get through. I just felt like it would never end. I put my bean sprouts in front of the endangered plants, hoping they would do most of the work, which they did, up until the very end of the day, where a big, chunky enemy came in strutting his stuff down the bottom lane, and I had nothing to defend myself. All I could do was sit there and watch with this single lone bean sprout. The bean sprout and I watched as every single plant he knew got destroyed. I hope he knows how disappointed in him I am. What a failure. The next attempt I was more prepared, and I added some reinforcement goopy goobers down in the bottom lane, and that seems to have done it. The day was complete with only minor head trauma. Day 28 was another prepare your defences level, and this one, once again, was the hardest I have done thus far. The issue here was once again the cold, harsh winds. After a couple of failed attempts, I came up with a big brain idea. What if I saved some of my sun for the end and planted some bean sprouts at the very back of the level? And I did just that, and better yet, it worked like a charm. Not even the stupid ferret zombies could stop me now. This day single-handedly increased my brain's IQ by 2 inches. Day 28 was pretty much the last day of this world, as day 29 insisted I use the fire pea, which is basically EA coming up to me and saying, "Hey guys, look how good this plant is. You can have it for the low price of an average mortgage." From here, we move on to day 30, the final day of Frostbite Caves, and once again, we send Dr. Zomboss packing by giving him the 3-blower Bob treatment. I then proceeded to pass out because at this point in my live stream, I was streaming for around 7 hours straight non-stop. Shagrot's Cave can attest that I nearly fell down the stairs after streaming. After giving Zomboss the pounding of a lifetime, we are rewarded with the key to the next world, but that's a story for the next video. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and thank you all for all the support. We are nearing 10,000 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you for making this dream a reality. We might actually get Garden Warfare 3 at this rate with enough time. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next part of Beans Only. See you guys.